This short video will provide you with a guided overview of the tasks and objectives you will be expected to complete when you work independently through Lab Number 2, perform a vulnerability assessment scan using Nessus. You can pause, rewind, and fast forward this video if necessary. You are encouraged to keep paper and pen handy to take notes if you wish. After you have viewed the entire video, you may want to refer to portions of it while you complete the lab itself. If you have questions about accessing or working on the lab, please consult the Student Lab Manual for the setup instructions or contact your instructor. Let's begin. Note that this video starts in exactly the same place as the lab, the Student Landing vWorkstation Virtual Machine Desktop. This video shows you how to perform vulnerability assessments using Nessus, which is an application built specifically for the network discovery of devices and the operating systems, applications, etc. running on them. Nessus detects and identifies any hosts running on non-compliant applications, such as spyware or peer-to-peer services, allowing administrators to assess the risk and perform necessary remediation. Nessus can even suggest remediation strategies based on what it finds. To launch the Nessus Server Manager application, double-click on the icon on the desktop. On the Nessus Server splash screen, check to make sure that the Nessus server is running and then click on the Manage Users button to add a new user account. When the Add User window pops up, click on the plus symbol to add a new user. When the Add User window pops up, click the plus symbol to add a new user. Enter the logon credentials and place a check mark in the Administrator box to give this new user administrative privileges. Finally, click on the Save button to create the new user account. Close the Nessus server window and open the Firefox browser on the vWorkstation desktop. Nessus has a browser-based client interface. To access it, enter the URL for the local host in the address bar. The first time you do this, you will see a warning from Firefox indicating that you are about to access an untrusted website. Where it says, I understand the risks, click on the yellow arrow to expand the text, and then click on the Add Exception button. A new window will pop up. In it, click on the Confirm Security Exception button. When the Nessus client interface loads, enter the login information you just created. The heart of the vulnerability assessment is the device scanning process. There are two parts to the scan process, creating a policy and creating a scan. To create the policy, click on the Policies menu item and then the Add tab. Create a new policy definition called Lab 2 Policy. Select all of the default policy values by clicking Next through the selection screens until you reach the Submit button. Click to save the Lab 2 policy definition. To create the scan, click on the Scans menu item and then the Add tab. The scan target form will appear. Into it, enter the 5 pieces of data necessary to set up a target scan. Name. This is how the scan will be identified. Name your scan Lab Number 2 Server Farm Scan. Type. Nessus scans can be run either as soon as they are created and executed or as repeating scan templates that can be executed at a future point. Select the Run Now option. Policy. The policy dictates the parameters by which the scan will be executed. Select the policy you just created, Lab 2 Policy. Scan targets. Scan targets are the hosts against which Nessus will perform the scan. Targets can be entered as single IP addresses, a range of IP addresses, as a subnet with CIDR notation, or as a resolvable host name, for example, www.nessus.org. Enter 172.30.0.0/24 in the scan box. Targets file. If you frequently scan the same group of hosts, creating and using a targets file will save a lot of time in typing. The targets file is usually a text file containing a list of hosts saved on the local machine that can be imported into a scan by clicking the Browse button. This lab does not use a targets file. After you have entered the scan information, click on Launch Scan. The scan will begin immediately, and you will see a status bar colored yellow indicating the progress of the scan. Note that the Scans window will show all currently running scans. You can pause the scan to browse it, resume it when you're done browsing, or stop it entirely. When the scan is complete, it becomes available in the Reports tab. Clicking on the Reports tab shows both the running and completed scans. The Reports screen is the hub of the application. Here you can compare, view, upload, and download other scans, and get a lot of information about any potential vulnerabilities. To review a scan, highlight the scan name in the list and click the Browse button. The first screen you see is the Summary screen, which gives an overview of hosts scanned and vulnerabilities discovered. When you select a host by double-clicking on it, you can see a list of ports that gives you information about the protocol type, service, name, and vulnerability priority: high, medium, and low. Single-click to select a port. A list of all vulnerabilities associated with that port is now displayed in the window. You can sort the results by clicking on the column headers. Sorting by severity will show you the most critical issues in descending order. Single-clicking on one of the vulnerabilities will bring up a detailed information page in the next window. Included in it are a technical description, references, solution, detailed risk factors, and any output relevant to the vulnerability. Close the Firefox window when you are done reviewing the scan, and then close the Nessus Server Manager application. That concludes this video walkthrough of the material in Lab Number 2, Perform a Vulnerability Assessment Scan using Nessus. In this video, you learned how to start the Nessus Server Manager application, add a new user, and then launch the Nessus client interface in Firefox. You also learned how to create a policy and a scan, and how to use the Reports interface to sort through the scan details looking for vulnerabilities.